Introduction for the book, The Power of Letting Go. Does your past continue to haunt you? Do you struggle with forgiving others, or even yourself? Do regrets, worries and anger weigh you down? If so, you're not alone. Most people have experienced deep wounds, resentment and fear that won't seem to loosen their grip. Holding on to our hurts and mistakes is a heavy burden that robs us of joy, ruins relationships, and causes chronic stress. Yet letting go seems difficult, if not impossible for most of us. We tell ourselves that forgetting the past means we've somehow accepted or excused injustice. Or we worry that releasing anxieties will leave us unprepared and vulnerable. However, emerging research shows the opposite is true. There is a real art to letting go that brings profound healing, empowerment and inner peace. In the art of letting go, you'll learn research-backed and scientifically proven techniques to embrace forgiveness, live fully in the present, and build emotional resilience. With clear, practical guidance, letting go will become easy, even natural. By following the 5-step journey in this book, understand why you must let go. Too often we underestimate the toll of clinging to emotional wounds and the past. Part 1 covers eye-opening studies on how dwelling on hurts, mistakes and anger literally shortens lives while contributing to ulcers, hypertension and lowered immunity. You'll discover astounding facts on why those who forgive enjoy better quality relationships, less anxiety and depression, improved sleep health, and live as much as 10 years longer. Cultivate acceptance and forgiveness. Forgiving others is one of the greatest struggles in the human experience. The same goes for self-forgiveness too. Building acceptance and offering forgiveness will be your focus in Part 2. You'll find scripts and step-by-step advice on having courageous conversations and making amends. Plus, an entire chapter covers potent self-forgiveness mantras and techniques endorsed by top therapists when shame and regret are holding you back. Live in the now. We human beings sure love living in the past and worrying about the future. Part 3 offers you the keys to residing fully in the present moment, which is the only real way to properly live. The book introduces handy mindfulness tricks you can do anytime, anywhere to halt destructive thoughts about what might have been or what could go wrong next. You'll learn how to tune into your senses, appreciate every experience, and see past and future thinking for what they really are, distractions robbing you of the here and now. Let go of future fears. You may have heard that worry helps us prepare and plan ahead. However, science shows that excessive worrying actually backfires. In Part 4, discover how to discern helpful versus unhelpful fears about tomorrow. You'll be equipped with techniques derived from exposure therapy and cognitive behavioral approaches to nip anxious thoughts in the bud and build your tolerance to uncertainty. Maintain peace after letting go. Alas, letting go is not a one-and-done process. Life inevitably brings new hurts and worries over time. In Part 5, you'll focus on setting healthy boundaries with people, finding self-validation so that you don't regress back to seeking external approval, and responding thoughtfully when life gets rocky. The book's final chapter is filled with joyful guided meditations, self-care rituals, and celebrating how magnificent life feels with inner peace and emotional freedom. By the journey's end, you'll feel a weight lifted after releasing years of unnecessary burdens. Letting go liberates you to live each moment to the fullest with optimism, wisdom and wonder like you did as a child. Turn the page to begin Chapter 1, The High Cost of Holding On. Say time heals all wounds. But simply waiting for the years to pass doesn't necessarily dissolve anger, erase regrets, or make us forgive those who caused harm. Time only pushes painful memories from immediate awareness into our subconscious. There they lurk, fully intact and capable of sabotaging our happiness, health and relationships. Decades of resentment toward an absent parent can flare up when you have a child yourself. You promised yourself you wouldn't be bitter about a bad childhood or failed marriage anymore. Yet you catch yourself making snide remarks that convey buried hurt. Anger and bitterness from being mistreated at work in the past boil up when facing new challenges. You dread family events because of the fake smile you have to wear around relatives who once betrayed your trust. Make no mistake, sweeping pains under the mental rug never works. A University of Virginia study found that people who don't practice self-forgiveness tend to ruminate more on their regrets a decade later compared to those who make peace. Unresolved anger and disappointment haunts us for years. Letting go is the only way forward. Health dangers of holding on. More concerning is how clinging to negative emotions, past failures and old wounds can seriously damage your physical and mental health. Mayo Clinic research reveals that chronic anger triples your risk of heart attack. And bitter people are twice as likely to have strokes or die earlier. 3x higher risk of heart disease. 2x more susceptible to infectious illness. 75% higher anxiety rates. 60% increased depression odds. Why does stewing over the words during a fight 10 years ago still plague millions today? Yale psychologists explain that dredging up painful memories triggers our body's primal responses as if we're back in that unpleasant moment. Our muscles tense, breathing intensifies, blood pressure skyrockets, immunity drops and vital systems switch their focus to immediate survival. That's why prolonged stress has been called the #1 threat to health. Now magnify those daily stress spikes times months or years. The compound damage exceeds what most can endure. Stanford studies found that those who forgive enjoy markedly better heart health across their lifespan. Plus they benefit from 30% lower rates of illness. This makes letting go quite literally life-saving. The price we pay, of course, strained relationships, lost joy, and debilitating worry continue being perhaps the steepest prices of all. A Columbia University study found that holding on to grievances or hurts often leads to relationship limbo. We become stuck because our body never gets the signal to fully bond again after conflicts or mistakes occur. That explains why rehashing the past destroys intimacy. Partners who cite past betrayals as proof you'll never change strangle hopes of reconciliation and building trust. Resentment is toxic. Equally serious is how endlessly replaying your mistakes compartmentalizes your self-worth. People describe the regret and shame loop from a failed marriage or losing their career as hitting rock bottom. You forget dozens of other roles and joys in your life because of fixating on one regret. Thus we sentence ourselves to misery until making peace with imperfections. The bottom line is that we sacrifice far too much in vain attempts to deny or cling to life's pains and disappointments. The path forward rests in letting go. Chapter 2: Why we struggle to let things go. If letting go brings such astounding benefits, then why do so few seem to master it? As it turns out, this inner peace skill gets trained out of us early. Toddlers intrinsically forgive and move past emotional injuries quickly. But well-meaning adults teach little ones to use their words and handle mistreatment through confrontation. Studies show the average preschooler forgives someone in under 5 minutes. Whereas adults average 2 to 3 days after conflicts large or small. We incorrectly assume that dwelling forces accountability, which prevents future harm. However, it often backfires. Nursing resentments pressures the offender to defend themselves. So real reconciliation stalls while pain festers. Anger and bitterness then cascade into too many areas of life until letting go finally occurs years later. Interestingly, a University of Miami study found couples who argue to resolve conflicts experience lower relationship satisfaction overall compared to those who make amends quicker. Beyond childhood coaching, our minds cling to painful thoughts due to psychological biases. We unconsciously enjoy pity and playing small to avoid facing future hurts. Additionally, lacking self-awareness keeps us stuck. We don't recognize root wounds driving anger like abandonment issues, betrayal trauma, codependency, or narcissistic injury. We live life from these juvenile emotional states yet wonder why moving on from adulthood conflicts remains impossible. Becoming conscious of shields, blind spots and conditioning is essential. We may tell ourselves the platitude, forgive and forget, without appreciating the work involved. You must feel in order to heal. Letting go doesn't mean skipping necessary steps like healthy boundaries or speaking truth. It does, however, require surrendering anger and resistance so we stop hurting too. Understanding these psychological traps and taking responsibility for our reaction is the precursor to release. The coming chapters will unpack all of this and more. For now, appreciate that letting go goes against modern conditioning. But we all can learn, and the joyful lives of those who do confirms why it's so worth it. Chapter 3, the peace that comes from letting go. We get so distracted by perceived justice, protecting feelings, or our egos need to be right that we scarcely notice how agony from past hurts decreases daily when we let them go. Those who've walked the path describe many overt rewards on the other side that make surrendering anger worthwhile. The most obvious benefit is reclaiming your life's passion after resentment held your dreams hostage. Kylie carried her grief for decades after her ex-husband abandoned her while raising their infant son alone. Though remarried now, his betrayal left her fearful to connect deeply again. She describes her evolution beautifully. Getting past the anger opened my heart back up. I learned the risks of intimacy are worth it to not lock out love. Letting go also builds self-confidence and courage. No longer defining yourself as someone's victim or blown opportunities as character flaws reduces self-judgment. Playing small to avoid rejection loses its hold. Trying new things seems fun rather than intimidating. You recognize healthy risks versus real threats clearly. Emotionally strong people forgive easier because they don't personalize others' actions on themselves. Their stability comes from within rather than appearances, achievements, or treatment by others. Health enthusiasts applaud letting go's physical perks like lower cortisol, stabilized glucose levels, and improved cardiovascular health markers. However, the mental health gains prove equally profound. Released obsession about why someone hurt you or why you made certain mistakes lowers anxiety and catastrophic thinking. Making peace with imperfections prevents spinning worries that you are flawed, unlovable, or destined to fail. Letting go also bears a hidden blessing: freedom from others' actions. When we resent others' behavior, in truth we resent their freedom to behave as they choose. Forgiveness surrenders the illusion that we can control people. We regain power not by demanding change but realizing love stays steady regardless what others say or do. This principle works miracles to stabilize relationships. Indeed, the personal tranquility found from letting go ripples outwards to benefit every relationship. Tolerating personality quirks instead of fault-finding brings you closer to friends and family. Colleagues pick up on the grace and gravitate towards it. Romantic partners notice how you correct misunderstandings quickly before they escalate like in the past. We teach people how to treat us. Demonstrating quick forgiveness sets the tone for respect. Do pleasant memories surface about who you were before adversity hit? Many describe their former self as enthusiastic, trusting, and quick to smile. Holding on to pain changes you. Letting it go allows your essence to shine again. People often emerge happier on the other side of forgiveness, still bearing the wisdom gained by difficulties without being burdened by bitterness. We all know ostensibly happy people who seem a bit lifeless behind the eyes and plastered on grins. True joy radiates from peace within. This peace primes you to receive life's other graces. Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu described this beautifully: if there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. This starts by letting go. Chapter 4, Practicing Radical Self-Acceptance. Letting go of past hurts or failures first requires radical self-acceptance in the present. Otherwise we stay trapped regretting our inadequacies or perceiving events as unfair punishments. To cite 12th century Buddhist monk Shinran, no matter how evil one's past life may be, the light of one thought of taking refuge can wipe it out. What powerful permission to blossom just as we are. Yet we swim in cultural conditioning that ties self-worth to titles,